By using Hyperlink, we can access documents or web pages from within a map. So first, we need to define Hyperlink for features. We can do that in 3 ways: document, URL, and a script. In this video, I'm gonna cover document and URL. In order to activate the hyperlink, let's go to the Layers properties and from Display tab, toggle on Support Hyperlink. And from here, we can choose the type of the hyperlink. First, let's start from document. From here, I can choose a field in Layers attribute table. ArcMap uses this field's information to read the hyperlink's content. So first, I need to define this field. And since I don't have this field right now, I'm gonna toggle off this option. Let's first define the field and fill it with proper information, and then we will come back again to this setting. Okay, let's define a new field. For example, document HB-link. And text, and let's change it to 200 because sometimes file paths can be so long. Okay, here we go. In this folder, I have some photos, and I want by clicking on each feature, the proper photo opens up in ArcMap. So I'm gonna copy the path from here and paste it here. And I'm also gonna add the photo's name and suffix at the end of the folder path. Let's do the same for the next feature. I just need to change the file name. Okay, now look, the folder's path is repeating in each cell. In order to get rid of this repetition, I'm gonna use Hyperlink Base. From File, Map Document Properties, I can use this box, the Hyperlink Base to add the repetitive part of the links. Alright, now the only thing I need to do is writing the file name and suffix in each cell. Pay so much attention to the suffix. It should be correct. Otherwise, ArcMap cannot find the file and open it. For example, previous files were JPG, but these 2 files are PNG. After completing cell's content, let's go to the layer properties and from Display tab, toggle on Support Hyperlinks. First, I'm gonna work on document, so let's leave this option on. Now, I'm gonna choose the proper field, which is document HB-link. In order to see the hyperlinks, I'm gonna use the Hyperlink tool. Those features containing hyperlink have turned to blue. By clicking on each feature using this tool, I can see the related file or photo. If we notice, some cells have the file path and some don't, but I open them in the same way. For these 2 cells, ArcMap read the file path from Hyperlink Base, and for these 2 cells, ArcMap uses the cell's content. The other type of hyperlink is URL. So I'm gonna create a new field. For example, URL HB-link, text, And let's change the length to 200. Now I'm gonna add my desired URLs into these fields cells. For example, this one for Brisbane. Okay, let's make this field smaller and this one a bit larger. Or I can turn off those fields that I don't need. From Layers Properties, Fields tab, let's toggle off what I don't need. Next one is for Gold Coast. Look here, if you notice, the Wikipedia address is repeating. So like what we've done for document, I can use hyperlink base to get rid of this repetitive part. Now the only thing I need to enter in each cell is the name of the LGA. Okay, now let's see how it works. But notice, by changing the hyperlink base from file path to the URL, those document hyperlinks that didn't contain the file path, like these two, cannot work properly anymore. I mean, ArcMap won't be able to find the file in computer and read it. Okay, let's try one of these. The hyperlink setting is still on document. I haven't changed it to URL. Alright, look, the first part is taken from the hyperlink base, which is the Wikipedia URL, and the second part is taken from the cell's content, which is logan.png. So by changing the hyperlink base, these cells won't work properly. But these two cells still work properly because they have the file path. So the way we are going to use the hyperlink base totally depends on our need. Now let's go to the Layers Properties, and from Display tab, I'm going to toggle on URL, and let's choose the proper field, which is URL HBlink. Now by clicking on each feature, I can see the related web page. The last thing I'd like to add is about the dictation. I need to be very careful when I'm entering the cell values. I mean, what I'm entering here must be exactly like this part of the URL. The non-repetitive part, I mean. If I enter a wrong value, I won't be able to access the correct website. For example, I'm going to make some changes in Ipswich dictation. Now look, this is not the correct web page. So we need to be very careful about the dictation. Another way for defining a hyperlink is using identify. This type of hyperlink is called dynamic hyperlink. In this technique, we don't need to use the layers field values. Using identify tool, let's click on the feature and then right click and choose add hyperlink. There are two options here, link to a document and link to a URL. So I'm gonna enter a website address here. Now, when I click on the feature using hyperlink tool, this user interface opens up and I can choose between these two links. One is defined using identify, and the other one is defined using field values. In order to manage dynamic hyperlinks, let's right-click on the feature name again, and this time choose Manage Hyperlinks. From here, I can only manage the dynamic hyperlinks. For example, I can remove one or add a new one. The important note about this technique is it's better to use GDB layers instead of shapefiles. The reason is in shapefiles, ArcMap uses FID fields to make a connection between features and hyperlinks. By deleting a feature that contains dynamic hyperlink in a shapefile, the FID field gets updated and the hyperlink of that deleted feature jumps to the feature that took the deleted feature's FID. But in a GDB, each feature has its own unique ID, and by deleting a feature, its ID won't jump into another feature. So if we define dynamic hyperlinks for features in a shapefile, by deleting a feature with a dynamic hyperlink, the hyperlink gets connected to a wrong feature. Imagine we want to send a map with document hyperlinks to someone else. In the relative absolute path video, I've already explained about the recommended structure of the project folder. For the document hyperlinks, we can either store the files in the main folder or in a subfolder. For example, this is the main folder for this project, and I've stored photos in a subfolder called Image. Now that the photos are in a subfolder, the only thing I need to enter in these cells is the subfolder name plus the file name and the suffix. If photos were in the main folder, only the files' names were enough. Alright, now let's enter the proper values for these remaining cells. Subfolder name, / file name, and the suffix. Alright, now let's activate the document hyperlink and choose the proper field. First, I'm going to see how it works, and then I will send it to another computer. As we can see, it's a web page, not a document. It's because of the hyperlink base. Let's get rid of it first and try again. It's still not working. So I have to close the map and open up again. Okay, let's try again. Yep, it worked. Now I'm gonna send it to another computer and let's see how it works. Okay, I've sent the map to another computer, but first let's review the links again. First two features are addressing the documents using absolute path. Two features are only showing the files' names. And last three cells contain the subfolder name and also the file name. Okay, now let's see how they work. First, I'm going to click on a feature containing the subfolder name. Now let's click on a feature that only contains the file name. Look, ArcMap can't open the Ipswich PNG file. But if I move the Ipswich photo from the subfolder into the main folder, this time ArcMap finds the photo and it can open it up. Now let's try the one with absolute path. Again, ArcMap can't open the photo.